Would you close down the oil industry?
By the way, I would transition from the oil industry, yes. I'd stop giving to the oil industry. I'd stop giving them federal subsidies.
That's maybe the biggest statement.
So you heard it straight from Joe Biden's mouth. He says he wants to close down the oil industry. The only question is it's a matter of time. How long would that be? So what happens if he tries to follow through in his campaign rhetoric? Let's bring in former Shell Oil President John Hofmeister. John, great to see you again. How far do you expect Biden to go in closing down the oil industry?
Not very far, David, because if he does, he craters the U.S. economy. And I think he said very clearly that his priorities will be COVID and managing that issue, the pandemic, and the economy. So if he attacks the oil industry, which today, let's be clear, 80% of U.S. energy comes from oil, gas, and coal. So if he wants to shut it down, then where do we get our energy? He hurts the economy, and he hurts the most marginally weak people in the nation. And he's a two-year term president because the Republicans will take over in the next election. And he's just like Obama. He misjudges what his implications are, and he pays the price.
Well, let's just take one specific promise that he made. He said he does keep narrowing that overall promise to eventually get out of oil, but he says now that he would close down fracking on public lands. If he follows through on that alone, what would happen to the oil industry?
Well, we would start to import more oil, strengthen the OPEC grip on the oil price, and the OPEC grip on the oil price will take it straight north, David. It's just axiomatic. We have lowered the global oil price because of U.S. energy production. It has been very good for jobs, very good for the economy, and quite frankly, very good for people's pocketbooks because the price of gas is, since 2014 till today, has been not very far north of $2 a gallon, other than in states that tax it heavily.
I would add another advantage to that is that we are no longer dependent on the oil sheiks who, as we know in the past, have used that economic leverage for political goals, some of which have been directly against our national interests.
Absolutely right. And we have rebalanced, as Daniel Yergin would say, we have drawn a new map on how geopolitics is managed based upon the impact that oil and gas have on the global economy, not just the U.S. economy. So I'm not afraid of a 21st century energy transition, David. It's going to occur over time. I think it will largely be led by markets and by the energy industry, perhaps with some amount of government enablement. And the industry signed up for that. But to come in and suddenly shut down what has been a very successful endeavor by markets, by business, creating jobs over the last 6-7 years would be a disgrace.
But, John, the one thing I think you are discounting that you perhaps shouldn't be discounting as much is the push by the progressive left. And you look at already you have a cabinet position on his green plan, a $3 trillion plan with all of the energy that the Squad and the other not so left-wing members of the Democratic Party have behind that. Isn't that going to push at least for re-regulation, some of the deregulations that President Trump did that re-energized the energy industry? Won't that be taken away now because of the push from the left?
I think we will see some return to the regulatory regime, and it'll feel like Obama 2.0 in some respects. The industry operated successfully under the Obama administration. The industry has a lot of flexibility, the productivity, the technology, the ability to control, for example, fugitive emissions of natural gas. There's a lot of things that can and should be addressed environmentally, and the industry is going to do it one way or another, because fugitive emissions of natural gas is like throwing money out the window.
Oh, I understand.
It makes no sense.
I got you. But we don't want $5 gas again. And we saw that a lot of the regulations that were dismissed by the Trump administration may be coming back, and that might push up gas prices again. John, we got to have you back. Please come back and see us soon. John Hofmeister, former Shell Oil president. Appreciate you coming in.